Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s, the newly independent Ukraine inherited massive stockpiles of weapons and armored vehicles. Maintaining this arsenal posed a significant financial burden, as much of the equipment was outdated. Consequently, a large portion was mothballed with the intention of either being scrapped, sold abroad, or potentially modernized. Regarding the vast inventory of tanks, the Ukrainian Army decided to retain the T-64 while selling off its stockpile of T-62 and T-72 tanks. However, by the 2000s, even the T-64 was considered an outdated design, and maintaining the vast fleet strained the military budget. To address this problem, Ukraine initiated several projects based on recycling the abundant T-64 chassis, including the effort to turn the tank into a new heavy armored personnel carrier. The vehicle was designated BMP-K-64. The project, however, never progressed beyond a single prototype. In the early 2000s, Ukraine's state-owned Kharkiv-Morozov Machine Building Design Bureau began developing a series of heavy infantry fighting vehicles using obsolete T-64A tank chassis, hundreds of which were languishing in storage. The primary goal was to repurpose these outdated vehicles into marketable products for international buyers, generating funds to develop modern and more efficient military vehicles. This effort led to the creation of a universal platform based on the T-64A chassis, known as the UMR-64, which served as the foundation for 15 proposed specialized variants. The first vehicle developed from this platform was the BMP-V-64. While retaining some components of the original T-64A, such as the frame and suspension, significant modifications were made in other areas. The engine compartment and sprocket wheels were relocated to the front, freeing up space for a transport compartment in the rear. The vehicle was equipped with a new turret featuring a 30mm cannon and a 7.62mm machine gun. The BMP-V-64 had a crew of 3 and could carry up to 12 soldiers. Later, an upgraded variant of this vehicle was introduced, featuring a slightly redesigned chassis. Its armament was bolstered with the addition of 2 9K38 Igla air defense systems and a barrier anti-tank guided missile. The variant that followed was an even heavier BMP-T-64, equipped with a remote-controlled turret. Another notable design was the UMBS-64, a universal combat supply vehicle intended for transporting ammunition and supplies. It featured a 2.5-ton crane and storage compartments on the roof for spare parts, allowing for field maintenance and replacement of damaged modules. Despite its versatile design, the UMBS-64 never entered production and remained only as a 1:16 scale model. Similarly, scale models of mortar and multiple rocket launcher system variants of this vehicle were also created, but never realized in metal. One T-64-based project that made it further than most was an 8x8 wheeled APC or IFV known as the BMP-K-64. The prototype for this unusual conversion was initiated and completed in 2005. While not primarily intended for widespread production, its main purpose was to serve as a low-budget technology demonstrator. If any production orders were placed, that would have been just a bonus. The engineers aimed to test whether replacing the expensive tracked suspension with an 8x8 wheeled configuration could offer cost-effective benefits. If that turned out to be the case, an entirely new line of heavy APCs based on recycled old tanks could be developed. This vehicle retained the original T-64A chassis, but it was rotated backward and reinforced with new ballistic armor plates welded onto the frame. The prototype featured a simple utilitarian design. The radiator grille was located on the right side, while air intakes for the engine were positioned on both sides of the frontal armor plate. The roof was equipped with 3 hatches, one for the driver on the right, another for the commander on the left, and a third behind them for the gunner. A radio antenna was mounted on the right side near the driver's hatch. Both the commander and driver had access to 2 periscopes for improved visibility. Protective SET-5L glass panels were installed on either side of the frontal armor plate, primarily to assist the driver when maneuvering in confined areas or scanning for enemy troops to avoid ambushes. At the center of the rear plate, a twin door allowed for quick entry and exit. On either side of this door, external fuel tanks were mounted. The troop compartment featured a single bench on each side for seating. Storage compartments for backpacks and personal weapons were located behind the passengers' heads, while lockers under the seats held ammunition, spare parts, and crew equipment. The BMP-K-64 was powered by a 5 TDF supercharged liquid-cooled multi-fuel engine. This compact yet powerful engine produced 700 horsepower at 2800 RPM. While its small dimensions and high power output were notable advantages, the engine's reliability posed a significant challenge, requiring major maintenance after only 500 hours of operation. Since 2015, Ukraine has introduced computerized systems that have greatly improved the engine's dependability. Had the BMP-K-64 entered production, the aforementioned shortcomings of the engine would have been removed. The vehicle's maximum on-road speed was an impressive 105 km per hour. Although Ukrainian sources do not specify its total fuel capacity, they report a maximum on-road range of 800 km. The BMP-K-64 utilized a hydraulic motor-to-wheel transmission system. This design choice addressed the spatial constraints imposed by the tank chassis, which made traditional steering mechanisms with steered wheels impractical due to width limitations. As a result, the vehicle adopted an innovative hydraulic steering solution, functioning similarly to a tank. When the driver turned the steering wheel, the wheels on the corresponding side stopped rotating, enabling the vehicle to pivot in that direction. The hydraulic tubes for this steering system were cleverly routed beneath the vehicle's floor, preserving space within the transport compartment. The prototype was equipped with bulletproof, tubeless tires featuring a central tire inflation system. This system allowed the vehicle to continue operating even after a tire puncture, enabling it to travel up to 200 kilometers at speeds of up to 20 kilometers per hour. The BMP-K-64 typically had a crew of 2 or 3 members, a commander, a driver, and optionally a gunner. In the HAPC variant, the crew was likely reduced to 2, with the commander doubling as the machine gun operator. Conversely, in the HIFV variant, the third crew member would operate the remotely controlled turret. According to Ukrainian sources, the transport compartment could accommodate up to 8 fully equipped soldiers. The BMP-K-64 partially retained the original T-64A's side armor, while the front featured a newly welded armored plate. The front armor was 270 mm thick, consisting of ballistic steel significantly heavier than what was typical for armored personnel carriers and infantry fighting vehicles of other nations. On the sides, the original 82 mm vertical armor was preserved and reinforced with an additional 20 mm plate, resulting in a combined thickness of 102 mm. At the rear, vertical armor plates measured 40 mm thick. This level of protection adhered to NATO's AEP 55 STANAG 4569 standards. The front armor achieved level 5 protection, capable of withstanding 25 mm APDS rounds fired from 500 meters, and the blast of a 155 mm high-explosive artillery shell detonated at 25 meters. The rear armor met level 4 standards, resisting 14.5 mm armor-piercing rounds from a heavy machine gun at 200 meters. The roof armor, rated at level 3, could withstand 7.62 mm AP rounds fired from 30 meters, and 155 mm HE round exploding at 60 meters. To safeguard occupants from mines and improvised explosive devices, anti-blast protection was incorporated into the floor design. These defenses could be enhanced with the addition of unspecified explosive reactive armor. The prototype's armament consisted of a 12.7 mm KT 12.7 heavy machine gun, operated by the commander from beneath the turret ring. According to official Ukrainian sources, the BMP-K-64 was a versatile platform capable of being equipped with a variety of weapon modules. These included remote-controlled turrets with 30 mm automatic cannons and guns of calibers up to 90 mm. The first proposed configuration featured the KBA-105 Flurry remote-controlled turret, armed with a 30 mm ZTM-1 cannon. This long recoil-operated cannon boasted a muzzle velocity of 970 meters per second and a maximum rate of fire of 330 rounds per minute. As secondary armament, it was equipped with a 7.62 mm KT 7.62 machine gun. Additional weaponry could include a 30 mm KBA-117 automatic grenade launcher, capable of firing at a rate of 400 rounds per minute, with an effective range of 800 to 1,700 meters, depending on the ammunition type. Furthermore, the system could be outfitted with 2 to 4 anti-tank guided missiles of various models to increase its combat versatility. The second proposed option featured a Cockerill CSE-90LP turret armed with a 90mm low-pressure gun. This turret was successfully fitted and tested on the Ukrainian BTR-3E armored vehicle. It is a two-man turret equipped with the Cockerill Mark 8 LP rifled gun, with a maximum firing range of 6 kilometers. A coaxially mounted medium machine gun accompanies the main armament, with the exact model customizable based on customer requirements. Additionally, an anti-aircraft machine gun can be installed on a pintle mount as an optional feature. The turret includes a rear-mounted bustle that houses an autoloader capable of holding 12 rounds. Both turret traverse and gun elevation are powered by electromechanical systems, which enhance rotation speed and precision for targeting moving enemies. The fire control system features a 2-axis stabilized daytime sight for the gunner, integrated with a laser rangefinder. Optionally, this system can include a nighttime optic, infrared image intensifier, or thermal imaging device. Thanks to its hydro-spring recoil system and an effective muzzle brake, this compact turret weighing just 2.2 tons can be mounted on vehicles with a minimum weight of 7 tons. The standard protection level complies with NATO STANAG Level 1, allowing the turret's armor to withstand 7.62mm rounds fired from 30 meters and possibly artillery fragments. No detailed data is available about the fire support system of the BMP-K-64 equipped with the Cockerill CSE-90LP turret. However, it likely resulted in a significant reduction or complete loss of the vehicle's troop transport capabilities. The BMP-K-64 prototype was featured in a series of intriguing images documenting its assembly process and showcased at various exhibitions hosted by the Kharkiv-Morozov Machine Building Design Bureau starting in 2005. One of its first public appearances occurred in 2008, when it was formally introduced to the Ukrainian public. The vehicle reappeared in subsequent exhibitions, including in 2011, where it was displayed both to the general public and to foreign delegations. However, there is no record of any significant foreign interest in the project. For nearly a decade, the BMP-K-64 was listed among the military vehicles available for export by Ukraine. However, it was removed from the Ukrainian export catalog following the 2016 to 2017 period. Unlike some other Ukrainian prototypes, the BMP-K-64 was not observed in use during the Russo-Ukrainian War, and as of now, its ultimate fate remains unknown. This concludes our video on the Ukrainian wheeled HAPC, the BMP-K-64. What are your thoughts on this effort to repurpose an obsolete tank chassis into a wheeled HAPC? Did it have potential, or was it doomed to fail from the start? Share your opinions in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, we invite you to subscribe to stay updated on future content. If you'd like to contribute further, consider supporting us on Patreon or PayPal. We especially want to thank our medium and heavy tank Patreon supporters: Andrew Oberg, Dan Fitzpatrick, Dave Schuford, Leslie Hochauer, Michael Herman, Owen M., Peter Bradbury, and Wolfhund. Until next time, keep us in your sights.